Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, whoever is listening today, I came to remind you that your dream is still alive. You may have cried over it, waited for it, felt like giving up on it, but God has not forgotten what He promised you. Sometimes life pushes you to the point where the dream feels distant. You started with fire, but now you're fighting fatigue. You started with vision, but now you're wrestling with disappointment. Your dream is not something random that drifted into your imagination. It is not a coincidence, not a fantasy, not a wish you made on an emotional day. Your dream is divine. It carries the imprint of heaven. It is God whispering to you, "This is what I created you for." When a dream is divine, it doesn't just live in your mind, it settles into your spirit. You can try to ignore it, you can try to bury it, you can try to walk away from it, but something inside you refuses to let it die. That something is purpose. That something is calling. That something is God refusing to let you give up on what He designed you to become. A divine dream is different from human desire. Human desires come and go. They shift, they fade, they evolve with moods and seasons. But a God-given dream will haunt you in the best way. It will pursue you. It will wake you up at night. It will pull on your heart even when life feels heavy, even when circumstances say impossible, even when your confidence is shaking. Something inside still whispers, "There's more. Don't settle. Don't stop." That whisper is God reminding you that the vision He planted is still alive. When God gives a dream, He gives it with intention. He plants it because He sees what you cannot see. He knows the paths ahead, the opportunities waiting, the people you will impact, the lives you will transform, the generational change that will come through your obedience. He isn't giving you a dream just so you can feel excitement. He is giving you a dream because He is positioning you for purpose. Your dream is connected to someone's hope, someone's healing, someone's future. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than your resources. It's bigger than your experiences. And that is exactly why God gave it to you, so you would learn to depend on Him. You don't choose a divine dream. A divine dream chooses you. And when it chooses you, it marks you. It sets you apart. It places a weight on you that others may never understand. People around you might think you're aiming too high, dreaming too big, believing too boldly. But they didn't hear what God whispered to your spirit. They didn't see the vision He showed you. They don't feel the pull inside of you that won't allow you to shrink or retreat. A divine dream grows with you. As you mature, the dream matures. As you step, the dream stretches. As you learn, the dream expands. It evolves as God evolves you. And even in seasons when you feel unqualified, overwhelmed, or unprepared, the dream stays steady because it is rooted in God, not your ability. God doesn't give dreams based on where you are. He gives dreams based on where He is taking you. And because your dream is divine, no force on earth can uproot it. Not fear, not delay, not rejection, not people, not circumstances, not even your own mistakes. When heaven plants a vision, hell cannot prevent it. The seed may be buried, but it cannot be killed. The vision may be delayed, but it will not be destroyed. What God speaks into your spirit becomes destiny, and destiny cannot be canceled. So hold on to the dream. Protect it, nurture it, honor it. Because it is more than an idea, it is God's signature on your purpose, His blueprint for your future, and His reminder that He is not done writing your story. Just because the promise hasn't shown up yet doesn't mean God has changed His mind about you. Delay has a way of making people question everything, their purpose, their progress, their value, and sometimes even their faith. But delay is not denial. Delay is a divine pause, a strategic hold, a holy waiting period where God is setting things in motion that you cannot see. What feels like silence is sometimes preparation. What feels like inactivity is often God arranging the pieces, aligning the people, and clearing the path so when the blessing arrives, it arrives in fullness. When you're in the waiting season, your emotions start to talk louder than your faith. You begin to think, maybe I heard wrong, maybe it's not for me, maybe it's too late, maybe I missed my moment. But God does not tease his children with false promises. He doesn't plant a vision in your spirit just to snatch it away. If he allowed you to dream it, if he spoke it into your heart, if he confirmed it in your spirit, then it is still on heaven's agenda. The timing may be hidden, but the promise is secure. Delay is the divine classroom where patience is taught and trust is strengthened. Anyone can believe when things are happening quickly, but it takes a different kind of faith to believe when nothing seems to be moving. That's where God matures you. That's where he upgrades your trust. That's where you learn to walk with him instead of running ahead of him. Delay builds depth. It stretches your capacity so that when the promise finally arrives, you can handle the weight of it without crumbling. You must understand this. Delay is not God withholding from you. Delay is God protecting you. Protecting you from stepping into something you're not ready for. Protecting you from people who aren't prepared to walk with you. Protecting you from opportunities that look good but aren't aligned with your purpose. Sometimes the very thing you're crying for is the thing God is shielding you from because the timing would have destroyed you instead of blessed you. Think of how many times in your life you wanted something desperately, only to discover later that if you had gotten it too early, it would have broken you. God sees what you cannot see. He knows the traps you don't know exist. He knows the motives of people you trust. He knows the attacks the enemy is planning. His delay is not punishment, it is protection. It is grace disguised as waiting. Delay also reveals your character. It exposes what you truly believe. When the dream takes longer than you expected, will you still praise? Will you still work? Will you still hope? Will you still trust? Many people want the promise without the patience, the blessing without the process, the breakthrough without endurance. But destiny requires development. God will not release what you're praying for until he sees the version of you who can receive it without losing yourself. And sometimes delay is the place where God tests your loyalty. Will you stay faithful even when you don't understand the timeline? Will you keep walking even when you cannot see progress? Will you keep believing even when the promise feels distant? Faith is not proven by what happens quickly. Faith is proven by what you hold on to when everything slows down. Here is the truth you must anchor yourself in. God is not finished. What he promised is still alive. Your dream is still in motion. The blessing is still coming. The timing is not denial. It is divine alignment. And when God finally releases what you've been waiting for, you will understand why he made you wait. Because his timing is perfect, and his promise is worth every second of the delay. The waiting room is one of the hardest places in life because it feels like nothing is happening. You pray, you hope, you work, you believe, and yet the door stays closed. The promise feels distant. The path feels quiet. The pace feels slow. But what you must understand is that waiting is not wasted. Waiting is working. Waiting is where God does some of his most powerful, personal, and transformative work in you. The waiting room is not a punishment, it is preparation. You may think nothing is changing, but God is changing you. He is strengthening muscles you didn't know you had: patience, discipline, endurance, discernment, humility. He is smoothing out the rough parts of your character, purifying your motives, reshaping your thinking, and breaking habits that cannot travel with you into your next season. The dream may be divine, but the version of you needed to carry that dream often has to be developed in the dark. Growth rarely happens in moments of triumph. It happens in moments of tension, when you feel stretched, delayed, sometimes overlooked. The waiting room exposes the weaknesses you hide and reveals the strengths you didn't know you carried. It slows you down enough to hear God clearly, to see yourself honestly, and to move with intention instead of impulse. While you wait, you're not stuck, you're being shaped. Consider this: if God gave you the blessing too soon, you might mishandle it. If he opened the door too early, you might walk in unprepared. God doesn't want you to visit your blessing, he wants you to sustain it. And sustainability requires strength, the kind that only develops through pressure, patience, and time. Just as a seed must be buried before it grows, you too must experience seasons where everything looks still on the surface, but deep transformation is happening beneath. In the waiting room, God trains your eyes to see beyond the immediate. He teaches you to trust what you cannot yet touch. He builds spiritual stamina so you don't quit when the path gets difficult. Waiting strengthens you in ways success never could. Success can encourage you, but waiting builds you. Success can lift you, but waiting roots you. Success can reward you, but waiting prepares you. Some of the breakthroughs you're asking for require a version of you that is wiser, calmer, more disciplined, more prayerful, more mature, more committed, and more refined. And the only place God can develop that version is in the waiting room, the place where your excuses die, your faith deepens, and your dependence on him becomes real. The waiting room also tests your focus. Will you still pursue your purpose when you feel paused? Will you still show up when no one is watching? Will you still work on your craft, your vision, your mind, your spirit, even when nothing seems to be moving? Waiting reveals who is truly committed. Anyone can believe when progress is visible, but only the faithful keep building when progress is invisible. This season of waiting is not evidence that your dream is fading. It's evidence that your dream is precious. God is not withholding, he is preparing. He is not ignoring you, he is investing in you. Every day in the waiting room is shaping you into someone who can hold the blessing without breaking. So, don't despise the wait. Don't rush the process. Don't lose heart. What God is building in you during this season will become the foundation of everything he is preparing to release into your life. Your waiting is not wasted. Your waiting is working. And when God finally opens the door, you'll look back and realize that the waiting room was where you became strong enough, wise enough, and grounded enough to walk confidently into your destiny. When the pressure intensifies in your life, it's usually not a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're getting closer to something powerful. The enemy does not waste his energy on people going nowhere. He does not fight those who pose no threat. He does not attack those who have no purpose. The struggle you feel, the heaviness you carry, the obstacles that suddenly appear, these are not random. They are evidence that something in your life is shifting, growing, and moving toward breakthrough. The greater the assignment, the greater the opposition. Pressure is often the proof of purpose. You may be wondering why this season feels heavier than others, why the people you trusted walked away, why doors shut unexpectedly, why opportunities slipped from your hands, why new challenges rise as soon as you overcome the old ones. It's because you're entering a territory that demands strength, focus, and resolve. You are moving toward a level the enemy hopes you never reach. As you grow spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and purposefully, the resistance grows too, not to break you, but to test you, refine you, and strengthen you for what's coming. Understand this. The enemy attacks when you're closest to break through because he senses what you cannot yet see. He sees the seeds God planted in you beginning to take root. He sees your mindset shifting, your faith deepening, your purpose awakening. He senses momentum building around you, so he sends distractions, doubts, delays, and detours, hoping you'll give up before the blessing arrives. But what the enemy uses to discourage you, God uses to develop you. Pressure has a way of revealing what's inside of you. It brings out resilience you didn't know you had. It awakens gifts you didn't realize were there. It teaches you how to pray with power, how to stand with conviction, how to fight with faith. Pressure doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to strengthen your spiritual foundation, so that when you step into the next season, you won't be shaken by the weight of it. Some victories require muscle, and muscle is built through resistance. There's a reason diamonds form under pressure. There's a reason oil comes from crushing. There's a reason gold is refined through fire. Greatness is produced through experiences that stretch you beyond the comfortable and familiar. You cannot step into destiny while clinging to comfort. You cannot rise while remaining unchanged. Pressure pushes you out of old patterns, old fears, old identities, and old limitations. It forces you to confront the parts of yourself that must be transformed for your purpose to unfold. Your struggle is not a sign that God has left you, it's a sign that He is preparing you. He is allowing resistance to build you, not break you. You might feel tired, but you're being trained. You might feel stretched, but you're being shaped. You might feel overwhelmed, but you're being prepared for overflow. The battles you're fighting today are connected to the blessings waiting tomorrow, and here's the truth. The closer you get to your breakthrough, the louder the opposition becomes. Just like the night is darkest before the sunrise, your journey may feel most difficult right before things shift in your favor. Don't mistake pressure for defeat. Pressure means promotion is near. Pressure means purpose is rising. Pressure means breakthrough is on the horizon. So don't run from the struggle, don't shrink under the weight. Stand firm, keep pushing, keep believing. The intensity you feel is not the end. It is the sign that you are stepping into the next dimension of your calling. The enemy is fighting because you are close. The resistance is real because your destiny is real. And the pressure is heavy because your purpose is heavy. You are not breaking, you are becoming. Your struggle is proof that your future has weight, your calling has depth, and your dream has power. Keep going. Something incredible is on the other side of this pressure. Trusting God's promise is easy when everything is moving smoothly. But trusting His asterisk process, requires a different kind of maturity. Many people fall in love with the idea of the promise, the blessing, the breakthrough, the dream fulfilled. But they underestimate the journey that leads to it. God does not just deliver blessings, He develops people. He shapes character, deepens faith, and strengthens resilience long before He places the promise into your hands. The process is not a detour. It is the pathway God designed to build the version of you capable of carrying the weight of the promise. We often imagine destiny in its finished form, the business thriving, the ministry growing, the family restored, the goals achieved. But we don't picture the early mornings, the long nights, the tears, the setbacks, the lessons, the pruning, the stretching, the moments when nothing makes sense. Yet these moments are where God does his greatest work in you. The promise is a destination. The process is the transformation required to stand in that destination without being crushed by it. If God gave you the promise without preparing you, the blessing would overwhelm you instead of elevate you. You would step into a room you're not yet strong enough to handle. You would manage responsibilities you're not yet matured enough to navigate. You would hold opportunities you aren't yet wise enough to sustain. God loves you too much to give you what you're praying for before you're ready to handle it. His process isn't punishment, it's protection. The process teaches you things success never will. It teaches you courage when circumstances intimidate you. It teaches you discipline when motivation fades. It teaches you endurance when the journey stretches longer than expected. It teaches you humility when pride tries to take root. It teaches you reliance on God when your own strength runs out. These qualities aren't built in comfort. They are forged in seasons of challenge, refining, and growth. There will be days when you look at your situation and wonder, why is this taking so long? There will be seasons when you see the dream clearly in your spirit, but nowhere in your reality. And it's in these spaces where trust is tested most. Will you trust God enough to keep moving, even when you don't understand? Will you trust his plan when his pace frustrates you? Will you trust his process even when the path feels painful? The process also strips away what can't go with you: toxic mindsets, unhealthy habits, wrong relationships, old fears, shallow confidence, pride, insecurity, and anything that could sabotage your next level. God will not elevate you into a place where your character cannot sustain you. So he works on you privately before he blesses you publicly. What feels like loss is often pruning. What feels like isolation is often preparation. What feels like delay is often development. You are being shaped for something bigger than you realize. You are being refined for something greater than you think. The very struggles you want God to remove are often the tools he is using to prepare you. When you can trust the process, not just the promise, you show God that you are ready for growth, ready for responsibility, ready for destiny. Remember this: the promise is guaranteed, but the process is necessary. Don't rush it. Don't resent it. Don't resist it. Embrace it. Because when the promise finally comes, you will look back and thank God for every step of the journey, for it produced the strength, wisdom, and maturity you needed to walk confidently into the life he prepared for you. You're not just moving toward the blessing. The blessing is moving toward a stronger, wiser, more refined version of you, the version God is shaping right now. You don't have to see everything clearly to keep moving forward. Sometimes the path God calls you to walk is dim, unclear, and uncertain. You may not know what's around the next corner, and you may not understand why certain doors opened while others slammed shut. But faith doesn't require full visibility, it requires complete trust. If you could see everything ahead of you, you wouldn't need faith. If the road was perfectly lit, you wouldn't need courage. If every answer was already revealed, you wouldn't need to rely on God. Walking without seeing is not weakness, it is spiritual strength. There are seasons where God allows the fog to settle in your life. You pray for direction, but you only receive one step at a time. You want a full plan, but he hands you a single instruction. And that single step is all he gives, not because he is withholding clarity, but because he is teaching you how to trust him, not your understanding. Some people won't move until they know the whole path, but God often reveals the journey only as you walk it. Faith unlocks direction. Obedience activates clarity. Movement opens the next door. You don't need to see the entire staircase to take the first step. God knows if he showed you everything, the challenges, the detours, the valleys, the battles you might run the other way. So he guides you step by step, strengthening you along the journey. Each step builds spiritual muscle. Each step sharpens your hearing. Each step deepens your relationship with him. Eventually, you begin to realize that the path is not your source, God is. There will be moments when you feel lost, moments when the dream feels blurry, moments when you question if you're even moving in the right direction. But feeling unsure does not mean you're off track. In fact, some of the greatest moves of God are made in seasons where you walk by faith, not by feelings. Your emotions may fluctuate, but faith is anchored in truth, not mood. Even when you cannot trace God's hand, you must trust his heart. When the path is unclear, your flesh wants certainty, but your spirit needs trust. Trust that God is leading you, even when you don't feel led. Trust that he is working, even when you don't see movement. Trust that he is protecting you from things you don't even know are threats. Trust that the detours are divine, the delays are strategic, and the unknown is not empty. It is filled with God's presence. Walking without seeing is also a sign of maturity. As you grow spiritually, you don't demand explanations, you seek guidance. You don't wait for clarity. You trust God's character. You don't hesitate because of fear. You step because of faith. God shapes you into someone who can move even when the way is not obvious, someone who can follow his voice even when your feelings are loud, someone who can walk with courage even when the outcome is uncertain. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in your life are waiting on the other side of steps you have been too afraid to take. Not giant leaps, simple steps. The step of forgiveness, the step of starting again, the step of letting go, the step of obedience, the step of faith. Every major shift begins with a small step that says, God, I trust you even when I can't see the whole picture. Remember this, you don't have to know how it will happen. You just have to trust the one who knows. Your faith isn't measured by how much you understand. It's measured by how much you follow. Keep walking even in the dark. Keep stepping even when it feels slow. Keep trusting even when the path is unclear. Because the same God who guided you this far will guide you the rest of the way, and the steps you take in faith today will lead you to the break, through waiting tomorrow.